And on that same day, outside Nigeria, Venezuela's ousted leader, Nicolas Maduro, pled not guilty to drug trafficking and other charges in his first appearance at a New York court. He and his wife, Celia Flores, were seized from their Caracas compound and flown to the U.S. as part of a special forces operation. Reports said the hearing ended with a tense exchange between a member of the public and Maduro, who said he was a prisoner of war. Earlier that day, dramatic images showed the pair being transferred to the courthouse in handcuffs, surrounded by armed officers. On Tuesday, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wade Shaibu, said the Nigerian Army will deploy additional troops to Niger State to curb the rising threat of terrorism. He disclosed this at the opening of the 2026 Training and Doctrine Command Conference.
The renewed commitment follows recent deadly attacks on communities, including the killing of residents in Kaswandaji village, Agwara local government area of Niger State. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Wahid Shaibu says the army is acting on President Bola Tinubu's directive to flush out terrorists and secure the release of abducted persons.
Now, for the recent wave of attacks in Niger State, you know that the landmass of Niger State is one of the largest we have, and we are looking at it on how we are going to, do various deployments just to curtail those waves of attacks. In doing that, we'll be looking at our deployments here in Niger State and how we can either have a troop surge or we can leverage various technology inputs to how it will impact positively on the various operations that the troops down here are conducting. And I believe that once that is done, it will stem the tides of attacks in Niger State.
He said this at the Training and Doctrine Command of the Nigerian Army 5-day conference, themed Enhancing Nigerian Army Operational Outcomes through Effective Training and Doctrine Implementation. Commander of TRADOC, Major General Peter Mala, says the conference is aimed at strengthening operational effectiveness, which will provide framework to guide counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency,
which serves as our professional blueprint and intellectual foundational, will continue to guide our training, shape our operational outcome. It is imperative that the doctrine remains dynamic, relevant, and responsive to emerging threats.
While the Army headquarters focuses on policy formation, the Chief of Army Staff stresses that difficult questions must be asked to ensure training and doctrine translate into real results on the battlefield.
How would you encourage adaptive thinking in the students that pass through your various institutions? What are your plans for churning out combat-ready troops from our training institutions? How do you build resilience in our troops? How do you encourage joint and most-agency cooperation mindset the troops that pass through your training institutions?
That same Tuesday, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors announced plans to resume their suspended nationwide strike. The decision followed resolutions reached at an emergency National Executive Council meeting. At a briefing, National President of the association, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, insisted that the planned action will continue until all demands are fully met.
The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors shall resume the previously suspended total, comprehensive, and indefinite strike action with effect from 12 a.m. on Monday, 12 January 2026. Accordingly, all members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors in all 91 tertiary health institutions nationwide are hereby directed to withdraw their services completely and indefinitely. From that 12th, we will engage in peaceful protests within our hospital environment to call the attention of Nigerians and especially government to these demands. And these protests are simple. We will wear our lab coats, we will carry our placards, we will invite the press, the community, and we will just be reminding Nigerians, reminding the federal government, reinstate Lokoja, make sure that our corrected professional allowances are captured in the budget.
Flashback to Wednesday when the Oyo State Police Command deployed operatives to apprehend those responsible for the attack on the National Forest Rangers office in Orire local government area of the state. The command spokesperson, Ayonlade Olayenka, confirmed that the attack resulted in the death of 5 National Park Service Forest Guard officers. He also mentioned that investigations are ongoing, with credible intelligence already providing leads toward identifying and arresting the attackers. Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, assured residents that his administration would leave no stone unturned to ensure that such attacks are not repeated. Now, that same Wednesday at the Federal High Court in Abuja, Justice Emeka Nwite ordered the interim forfeiture of 57 properties alleged to be proceeds of unlawful activities linked to former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and 2 of his sons. Justice Nwite granted the order following an ex parte motion moved by counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ekele Iheanacho. The multi-billion naira landed properties valued at 213.2 billion naira are located in Abuja, Kebbi, Kano, and Kaduna states. The court also granted bail in the sum of 500 million naira to Mr. Malami alongside his wife and their son. The court also directed the defendants to deposit their international passports and other travel documents with the registrar of the court. They were barred from traveling outside the country without the express permission of the court. The trial was then adjourned until February the 17th.
We are comfortable with the bail conditions, and we are hopeful that within a reasonable time, we'll fulfill those bail conditions, and the defendants will be released and prepare for their defense.
Still reviewing the week, the Rivers State House of Assembly on Thursday promised that nothing will stop its latest attempt to impeach Governor Siminala Ifubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu. The lawmakers made the declaration during the presentation of a notice of allegations of gross misconduct on the floor of the House.
The House cut short its recess to address unresolved issues fueling the prolonged rift between the executive and the legislature. For the 3rd time in less than 3 years, lawmakers have initiated fresh moves to impeach the governor and his deputy.
Occupy offices.
Top among the allegations are the failure to present the budget and the unlawful expenditure of public funds.
Particulars of gross misconduct. A. That His Excellency Sir Siminala Ifubara, GSS-ROS, Governor of Rivers State, refused to present the Rivers State Appropriation Bill 2024 to the Rivers State House of Assembly, contrary to Section 121(1)(2) of the Constitution.
In compliance with Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and other extant laws, we, the undersigned members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, hereby forward to you a notice of gross misconduct by the Deputy Governor of Rivers State in the performance of the functions of her office.
We will follow this impeachment process through. The Supreme Court has confirmed that the governor has committed offenses against the Constitution. Let the law take its course. The law has to take its course. Mr. President, we thank Mr. President. He's a father. Mr. President has done his best. Mr. President has spoken to the governor. In my presence, Mr. President told the governor, I'm giving you a second chance. The governor refused. He gave him another one. The governor refused. How many times will the Mr. President call us?
Condemn in strong terms the refusal of the governor of Rivers State.
The tension in the hall was palpable as lawmakers took a step further, effectively dashing hope for progress on the 2026 budget amid impeachment proceedings.
It makes sense too that we allow that process to go through before we start talking about any MTF or even the 2026 appropriation bill. In any case, the governor does not even want to present any budget, because if he wanted to, he would have brought it all this while. Siminala Ifubara is a mistake. He is a mistake. Rivers State has never had it this bad. In the entire Nigeria, Siminala Ifubara and Professor Ngozi Odu, these are the only 2 people in the office at the sub-national level that are yet to present 2026 appropriation bill. The entire country.
The Speaker is required to transmit the notices to the Government House within 7 days.
And finally, on Flashback, we're still in Rivers State, where the Ijaw Youth Council warned that moves to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara could trigger fresh political violence in the state.
The umbrella body of youths of Ijaw extraction is coming out again in defense of one of their own, the governor of Rivers State. For them, the stance of the state legislature, which contradicts the will of the people, could have dangerous consequences.
The IYC Ijaw Youth Council condemned in its totality the unwarranted impeachment proceeding initiated against the people governor of Rivers State, the person of Sir Siminalayi Fubara, by Rivers State Assembly members against the wish of the people of Rivers State. This action, which is likely to put our peaceful Rivers State and the entire Niger Delta into crisis, which is counterproductive to the President Tinubu Renew Hope Agenda 2023.
The IYC described the alleged infractions raised during the plenary as politically motivated.
The purported 8th allegation against the governor are entirely empty and frivolous. The peaceful disposition of the governor of the state should not be seen as a weakness, for it is the reason we are experiencing the peace in Rivers State and the entire Niger Delta.
As things stand, there is the perception that President Bola Tinubu could determine the outcome of the impeachment threat only if he chooses to intervene.
I'm calling Mr. President to come to our aid again, because he's been a father, and I know that this whole thing is not expected by him, and I believe as a father he's going to come to our aid and call the parties to order.
We all waited for this peace to proceed, but it's quite unfortunate that our assembly members started another battle by setting the impeachment process. It's alarming, because in everything we do today, we must always give peace a chance.
Despite the uncertainty hanging over the Fubara administration, the Ijaw Youth Council insists the governor must complete his 2 terms in office.
That is TVC